Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas warning that immigrants are not allowed to enter the country as the Biden administration works to deport thousands of Haitian refugees who have camped out under a bridge there in Del Rio, Texas, in what could be one of America's swiftest large-scale expulsions in decades. The Biden administration planning to fly most of the some 13,000 migrants back to Haiti, which is reeling from a devastating earthquake and political instability in the wake of the president's assassination. ABC's Kenneth Moten is there in Del Rio with the latest. Hi, Kenneth.
Just an incredible situation here at the border where it is a crisis, where you have about a little more than 10,000 Haitians who are under that Del Rio International Bridge right now. We got that update from the Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, who said that the situation is under control. The border is under control, and they're doing everything possible to help the people there under that bridge, making sure they contain the situation, get those people medical help, and any other things they may need under this Texas scorching heat. But he also mentioned how, yes, they are moving those Haitians out of here and out of this country, that the process has started. The flights back to Haiti and other countries, because we know Venezuelans and Colombians, Cubans are also in that group under that bridge. He says that the process has started to get those flights back to their home countries, that temporary protective status, they do not qualify for that, those Haitians who are under that bridge, because there have been accusations that the U.S. government is moving those migrants out faster than other people who have come into this country illegally. He also says that his heart goes out to those who are under that bridge, because we know that Haiti has gone through a lot when it comes to the earthquake, the assassination of that country's president. And for those who have decided to make this very dangerous trip here across the Rio Grande into the U.S., it shows just how horrible and dire the situation is for them that they would make this trip. But the secretary is saying that is not worth it, that the smugglers who are bringing those people into this country, that they are lying to them, that this is not the way to get into this country. Again, he says the situation is under control and that they are processing those people. And we know Border Patrol officials hope to process all of those people, about 10,000 left under that bridge. They hope to process them by the end of the week. It will be a massive undertaking. Guys, back to you.
All right, Kenneth Moten on the ground there in Del Rio, Texas. Thanks for that. And let's break this down a little bit. Bring in Immigration Hub Executive Director Sergio Gonzalez for more on this. And so, Sergio, we're watching this massive deportation, expulsion operation. And for all of America's border enforcement, pro and con, a massive expulsion operation without people even getting a hearing. That's pretty rare. What's your reaction to what we're seeing unfold there?
I think what's happening at the border is absolutely heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to watch. As the reporter mentioned, there has been absolute devastation in Haiti. We've seen a 7.2 magnitude earthquake rip the country apart, massive political turmoil with the assassination of the former president. And this is only added to the already existing problems that were already in Haiti before any of this happened. And so these are families, these are women and children who are arriving at our border. We are in the midst of a refugee crisis, not only in Haiti or from Haiti, but across the Western Hemisphere. And this is the time when the United States needs to lead with our values and with solutions. And solutions do not mean turning our back on these people. It does not mean turning our back on those who are seeking freedom from persecution and from disaster and from this turmoil. It means actually building the infrastructure, building the policies to lead with our values and with solutions.
Sergio, you talk about leading with solutions. You served as senior policy advisor to then Senator Kamala Harris. The vice president has been tasked with solving this immigration crisis. So what is her role in this deportation effort? Where is she? Why is she now not out in front of this?
The work to address the regional causes of why people are forced to leave their homes in Central America and across the region is incredibly important work. It's long overdue work. And I do want to applaud the fact that this administration and the vice president have taken on that work. And this only shows the urgency to accelerate that work, to expand that work. We need to provide economic opportunities to people. We need to deal with the epidemic problem of corruption across the region. We need to actually provide the humanitarian assistance to people in the region so that we can actually get at the reasons why people are forced to leave their homes and make this dangerous journey north. And also, we need to ensure that we can expand legal pathways for migration from the region. Our immigration system is so incredibly broken that it is virtually impossible, despite the fact that the American economy has always depended on the labor of immigrants. It is virtually impossible to legally immigrate if you are from Haiti or if you are from Central America. So that work to expand legal pathways is really critical, especially in this moment.
Well, Sergio, also the country and these Haitians are depending also on the leadership here in the United States. Where is Kamala Harris? She is supposed to be out in front of this. This is her platform.
I will say that, it is our firm expectation and that the administration, and I also want to talk a little bit about what you just mentioned, but, we are working with the administration and pushing the administration to make good on the promises and the agenda that the Biden administration has laid out. And there has been, as I mentioned, and especially in the first 9 months of administration, a lot of progress to be made. But this administration cannot allow this situation to undermine all of the good work that has been done. If anything, this is the moment that this administration should actually move forward aggressively on the platform of things like expanding legal pathways, on addressing the root causes that this administration laid out in the beginning of President Biden's presidency. And so I really do hope that the Department of Homeland Security takes this head on. And I will also say that, of course, the vice president is working on the root causes of this issue. And this only demonstrates the importance of moving forward aggressively to actually provide hope and change to people in the region and to work with our regional partners to build a system that is both, I think, emblematic of our values, of our history as a nation of immigrants, and also create the real shared responsibility in this region to make sure that we are protecting some of the world's most vulnerable.
And Sergio, the Biden administration is denying migrants an opportunity to claim asylum right now, just as President Trump did. It was the Trump administration pandemic policy to use public health law to say that people don't even get a hearing. They just get expelled as soon as they arrive at the border. We talked earlier with one of the ACLU's lawyers who says that may be inhumane. It's against the law, as a federal judge has recently found. What's your take on the Biden administration using that Trump administration's use of public health law to manage this situation?
Well, President Trump and Stephen Miller misapplied Title 42 in order to keep more immigrants out of this country. We know that the Trump administration ran on a platform of being xenophobic and anti-immigrant, and that they used this to rally a very nativist base and to stoke racism in this country. And so Title 42 was misapplied. It was found by the by a federal court judge to be unlawfully used. And so we strongly believe that Title 42, as far as it applies to migration on our southern border, needs to end. And this is not only an issue around, our national and international responsibility to actually provide a place of protection and refuge for immigrants and refugees, but also this is an economic issue. Title 42 has had a real economic impact on the border as well, because it has actually stalled economic activity at the border that is incredibly important for both sides of our southern border.
Sergio, I don't know if you've seen the photos, but White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki really struggled to explain these images of Border Patrol agents chasing down migrants there on horseback, some even appearing to whip the refugees here. She called it a horrible situation to watch, but says that she needs more context. Officials say they're investigating this. What do you make of these photos and these images? Do they surprise you? And what exactly do we need to hear from the administration?
These photos are horrific. They're very hard to look at, and they bring back imagery of some of the darkest days of this country. And it was very hard for me personally, and I know for others, both who work in the immigration space and outside of the immigration space, to look at these photos. With that being said, I believe there needs to be a full investigation into these photos, the type of the use of the whips in those photos, the behavior that we're witnessing in these photos. And I also think this is, again, emblematic, though, of a larger issue we have, in which we have spent billions upon billions of dollars at our border to militarize the border. And people along those communities live with this type of situation day in and day out. And so, I think that this should be a call to action to not only investigate this particular issue, but for absolute, a different way of thinking and restructuring of what we do at the border and how we treat people.
And finally, I just want to get your take, Sergio, on this action by the Senate parliamentarian who has ruled that Democrats can't include the big immigration reform plan they've got inside that $3.5 trillion budget package that the president is seeking, which means it's a big problem getting it passed. Where do you think that's going to leave thousands of undocumented people living in the U.S., hoping for this comprehensive solution we always talk about, not to mention the DACA recipients and their families?
We have to deliver on permanent protections for undocumented communities like Dreamers, essential workers, farm workers, TPS holders. Democrats have to deliver on this year. This is something that has gone unaddressed for over 3 decades. It has been something that multiple administrations have made promises about and have failed at. And we cannot leave 2021 without a pathway to citizenship or permanent protections for undocumented communities this year. And so very disappointed by the initial ruling by the parliamentarian. Also very much disagree with the initial ruling by the parliamentarian, but we are very confident in the path ahead. As Senate Democrats have laid out, there are other options here. There are multiple scenarios through which we can ensure and guarantee these protections for undocumented communities. And I would just like to add that this is something that the American public wants to see done. 70% plus of the American public want to see a pathway to citizenship for undocumented communities. They understand the vital role that undocumented immigrants and immigrants in general play both in our country and to our economy. And so this is something that we absolutely have to get done, and that failure is not an option in this case.
All righty. Sergio Gonzalez from the Immigration Hub, thanks very much for your help on this issue today.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.